Hello, friends, trace amounts of science. We're talking about Harvey Weinstein today because there have been some going-ons, like Harvey Weinstein's conviction being overturned in New York. For those who don't know, Harvey Weinstein was convicted in a trial relevant to unwanted advances, SA, if you will. We can't say the real word for what he was legally convicted of because, yeah, we just can't. But I'm sure you're picking up what I'm putting down, aren't you, cool cat? Now, little Harmless Harvey has two convictions, actually. One for his actions in New York, which he was sentenced to, I believe, 23 years in prison, and another group of convictions in California, amounting to about 17 years of jail time, all related to SA. And swirling around all of this man's misdeeds was that #MeToo movement. You guys remember Me Too, right? Kinda hard to forget it. It was a major hashtag on Twitter for a long time, and indeed a large component of internet discourse, even to this day in some respects. What shocked many people yesterday, though, was the fact that this clearly harmless man, with over 40 years worth of convictions on the table, had his New York conviction overturned in what can only be described as a gross and horrific abomination of justice. So, what exactly happened, you asked? Well, to put it simply, in a very split decision, 4-3, New York's highest court decided that the trial included too many character witnesses that were, quote, unnecessary to establish the defendant's intent and served only to establish the defendant's propensity to commit the crimes charged, which is really just a fancy legal way of saying the prosecution went a little too hard in the paint to make Harmless Harvey look like a monster. Basically, they did their job too well? Yeah, legally speaking, it does sound pretty dumb. Don't worry, because Harvey Weinstein is still going to be in jail for his California convictions. At least, for now, that is. And New York is allowed to retry him because he was not found innocent by the Superior Court. His trial was merely thrown out, which means he needs to have a new trial, which isn't great. My heart goes out to the victims and the fact that they are going to have to face off with this weird little proto-gooner in court once again. What did interest me was the Twitter storm that started over this. @only Anna Maria had this to say. Oh my god, Harvey Weinstein's conviction has been overturned. They're basically saying the trial was unfair because he was held accountable for the broader context of his decades of rapaciousness. And she highlights Mr. Weinstein was not tried solely on the crimes he was charged with, but instead for much of his past behavior. How unfortunate. And yeah, she seems reasonably angry about this. I'm sure there's a legal justification as to why what the prosecution did was wrong, but when the statements go to establish a pattern of behavior, it's kind of hard for me to understand why this is a matter of contention at all. What if instead of essays, these were murders? Is it then okay to bring in people as character witnesses about a pattern of behavior? Because I'm pretty certain I've seen that happen, though I could be hallucinating. Infamous internet personality, the Ant-Man himself, Ian Miles Chung, decided to go ahead and post this video of Michelle Obama calling Mr. Weinstein a wonderful human being.
I want to start by thanking Harvey Weinstein. He is a wonderful human being, a good friend, and just a powerhouse.
It should be noted that this was before a lot of the major allegations and the convictions. The Obamas would later come forward and publicly disavow and condemn Mr. Weinstein. I will say, though, it's good Twitter engagement. People definitely got mad in the comments or sided with Ian Miles Chung because now we live in a world where there are only two sides to any argument. Or at least that's what the world looks like if you're on Twitter. You should follow me over there @DaytonDoes and figure out which side I'm on because I'm still unsure. I was surprised to see this post from @DomLuker, which has the hilarious Cat Williams talking about an interaction he had with Mr. Weinstein and his own Me Too moment.
They canceled me for talking about Harvey Weinstein before the thing came out, but he offered to suck my in front of all my people at my agency.
Clearly, Harvey wasn't familiar with Cat Williams' character, a pimp named Slickback from the show The Boondocks.
A pimp named Slickback don't do shit for the homies. Unless the homie wanna walk that stroll and get that money, the homie ain't getting a damn thing. Sound like some gay shit to me.
Dom also mentions that Harvey Weinstein was friends with Jeffrey Epstein, who was alleged to have an egg-shaped ding-dong.
One witness described your as oval-shaped and claimed when erect it was thick towards the bottom but was thin and small towards the head portion and called it egg-shaped. Those are not my words, I apologize.
I don't know if it's just me, but that seems like a hard thing to imagine. Small base, bulgy middle, tiny top, egg-shaped. Don't you understand? So yeah, when I saw this headline posted on Twitter, I almost busted a gut. Why do all these weird, rich pests have weird Twinkies? And how do we know that they're weird? Because look at this. Headline from the New York Post. Governor Gavin Newsom's wife breaks down describing Harvey Weinstein's fish-like ding-dong in court. Cloud World, dude. Are you having fun yet? I sort of am. Color me interested. What could she possibly mean by fish-like ding-dong? Because I've never heard that descriptor before. Egg-shaped, I guess you can visualize it, but fish-like? According to the New York Post, Harvey underwent surgery for something called Fournier's gangrene in 1999. Here's the trace amounts of science. This left him with some noticeable deformities. So what the heck is Fournier's gangrene? Well, I'm learning so much today. Let's see. According to the National Institute of Health, and I'm paraphrasing here, Fournier's gangrene is basically a serious infection of the taint and no-no parts that can spread and has a high mortality rate and is apparently very common in diabetics. Excuse me while I go lose the contents of my stomach for a second. Okay. Oh, well, that's over. So let that be a lesson to all you out there. If you don't wash well enough, you might end up with a fish-like flesh eclair in your pants. So, yeah, get comfy with some soap, at least every once in a while. Jeez, what a nightmare this Mr. Weinstein individual truly is. Not only is he out here just doing as he pleases because he's a creep, but he's also out here being a creep with a mutilated corn dog. As if the actions of this creep weren't scarring enough for these women. They have to have that mental image. 40 years in prison isn't enough. It's not enough. Put the boots to him. If you don't want to put the boots to him, then you have to see a picture of his fish-like ding-dong and describe it for a courtroom. And yeah, we got the New York Supreme Court out here just forcing another trial for this fish-membered goon. Oh, it's possible that we really do live in the darkest timeline, you know? Anyways, here's a little bit more rage bait for you. The same user, @bgates is a psycho, would post this recording that circulated around Harvey Weinstein's trial, and he's just being so creepy.
Please sit there. Please. 1 minute.
No,
I ask
can't.
you. Go to the bathroom.
Please, I don't want to do something I don't want
Go
to.
to the bathroom. Come here. Listen to me.
I want to go downstairs.
I'm not going to do anything. You'll never see me again after this. Okay? That's it. If you embarrass me in this hotel,
I'm not
stay.
embarrassing you. It's just that I don't feel comfortable.
Honey, don't have a fight with me in the
It's not
hall.
nice.
Please, I'm not going to do anything. I swear, my children. Please come in. On everything. I'm a famous guy.
I'm feeling very uncomfortable right
Please
now.
come in now. And 1 minute. And if you want to leave, when the guy comes with my
Why
jacket, you can go.
yesterday you touched my breast?
Oh, please, I'm sorry. Just come on. I'm used to that.
But
Come on.
are you used to that?
Yes, come in. Because
No, but I'm not used to that.
I won't do it again. Come on. Sit here. sit here for a minute, please?
No, I don't want to.
If you do this now, you will embarrass me. No. Like, never call me again.
I want to start by thanking Harvey Weinstein, a wonderful human being.
My God, it doesn't even sound real. It's like villainously creepy how he sounds in his fucking recording, dude. Swearing on his children, even for his own degenerate needs. Ugh, really? He's just a disgusting man. Running through the whole playbook of manipulation tactics in what was that, 83 seconds? The whole creeper playbook in under 83 seconds! That has to be a world record, ladies and gentlemen. Not necessarily one you'd want to brag about. But of course, let us not forget that Donald Trump is currently on trial in New York, so this is now a political issue. Indeed, the whole crew's here. We've got Epstein and Maxwell and Obama and Clinton, the Bill. Hillary probably don't like him all that much. They got Michelle Obama and Oprah, this old man who I almost recognize. But then there's Tom Hanks and George Clooney. Yeah, we could see. He's made the rounds. It's just old Harmless Harvey, pictured with several prominent Democrats. And likely Republican candidate Donald Trump is on trial in New York. So yes, it's become a swirling nexus of political contention about some Democratic agenda. And I'll concede, it looks a little bit sus. A man previously connected to several high-tier Democratic individual goes free, while Biden's nemesis is facing charges in New York. The timing, yes, it does seem a bit odd, doesn't it? Now, there is such a thing as coincidence, but if you're heavily in the Trump camp, yeah, I could see how you'd make some connections here. I personally don't really think there's any correlation between the two things, but at this point, the Matrix appears to be breaking down, and I can't blame anyone for jumping to conclusions here. But Of course, we couldn't get through discussing Harvey Weinstein on Twitter without a little bit of anti-Semitism. Just a skosh. Did you think we'd get through talking about little harmless Harvey without getting into this section of Twitter? What are you, fucking new to the internet? As we can see in this post from Sheikh Suleiman, you can see why they think Harmless Harvey got out. It's a terrible Photoshop of Harvey Weinstein's fat head on a thin man's body holding a sign that says, "I stand with Israel." Wow, amazing. That's all it takes to get released. It should be noted that this user is wrong about him being released. He still has 17 years from his California conviction, but you can see this man has a certain belief in why this fish-donged weirdo is getting a do-over on his trial. And actually, that led me down another interesting little side road. Apparently, Harmless Harvey hired a little-known firm called Black Cube during his initial run-up to trial. What is Black Cube? I'm glad you asked. Well, it's a company you can hire to help you out for several operations, and it's run by former Israeli intelligence specialists. But what did Harvey hire them for? Well, this is an interesting little article from The Guardian that might shine some light on that. Devsen, a corporate lawyer at the prestigious New York law firm Boy Schiller Flexner, told the court that his company had acted as go-between, connecting the beleaguered movie producer to Black Cube. The private detective firm has a staff largely consisting of alumni of the Israeli intelligence agency Mossad. Under questioning by Manhattan prosecutors, Sen said that on July 11th, 2017, 3 months before the New York Times came out with its bombshell article revealing that Weinstein had paid off multiple women over the decades to bury their harassment complaints, Boy Schiller signed a contract with Black Cube, and the deal was sealed under the instructions of Weinstein. Well, that seems just a little bit curious, don't you think? But indeed, we're going to see how deep the rabbit hole goes. The jury was not given details about the nature of this contract, but in legal argument in court on Thursday, out of the earshot of jurors, key details of its contents were discussed. Lawyers read elements of the contract. One excerpt said that Black Cube was employed to, quote, Provide intelligence which will help the client's efforts to completely stop the publication of a new negative article in a leading New York newspaper. Rather specific. The contract also included a bonus clause under which Black Cube would be paid $300,000 if they actually succeeded in foiling publication of the Times article. During a heated legal argument, the lead prosecutor, Joan Illusiorbon, argued that the contract, quote, shows that the defendant was concerned about an article coming out and he was looking for Annabella Sciorra to be investigated. And if you presume that Annabella was also a victim of Harvey Weinstein, well, you'd be correct. He tried the old flip reverse Uno, didn't he? The article goes on to say, the Black Cube contract was first reported by Ronan Farrow of The New Yorker, who revealed that the Israeli firm, on Weinstein's dollar, deployed a number of investigators under false identities to befriend women accusing the movie titan of misconduct and to extract information from them. Farrow also revealed that the contract discussed in court on Thursday was signed personally by David Boies. The news sent waves through the legal circles because Boies had been seen as a champion of liberal causes, representing Al Gore in his fight with George Bush over the results of the 2000 presidential election, and invalidating California's ban on gay marriage. Just kind of a side note here, but wouldn't it be hilarious if Gore had to deal with 9/11? Do you think he'd take it totally serial?
It is a creature which roams the earth alone. It is half man, half bear, and half pig.
In the wake of the shocking disclosure that Boies had been involved in employing a private detective firm in an attempt to scupper a New York Times article at the very same time as he was employed as a legal advisor to the New York Times, the newspaper decided to cut ties with him. Well, that's definitely not a good look, Harvey. Nothing says not suspicious like hiring a clandestine organization / PI firm to try and cover up your misdeeds, befriend journalists, attempt to kill really any negative media attention. Really, it just screams innocent, doesn't it? Personally, I don't know if this is some kind of conspiracy, but if Harmless Harvey really cares about the Jewish community that he belongs to and the perception of Jewish individuals in America, well, hiring an Israeli firm to try and cover up his former dogshit behavior isn't really helping matters, is it? You get that you make life harder for every Jewish person when you do shit like this, right, Harvey? Don't you? I have nothing to hide. Therefore, I hired an elite team of former Israeli spies to help make sure that you know I've done nothing wrong. Yeah, he really does come off like a supervillain when you think about it too much. So, okay, what did we learn here today? Well, Harvey Weinstein's headed for another trial in New York after the highest court in New York overturned his last trial. He will face another trial and I don't know, we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. The victims will all be dragged back into court and forced to relive these events again, and my thoughts and prayers are indeed with them. The situation has, of course, become oddly political because, I don't know, we live in a fucking hellmouth and not a single thing can happen inside of it without it being political. Oh, next time I stub my toe, I'm just gonna blame it on the Green Party! Oh, those hippies! Because apparently that's how the world works now.
Every politician, every cop on the street protects the interests of the pedophilic corporate elite. That is how the world works.
But of course, to no one's surprise, it's also become vaguely, if not overtly, anti-Semitic because, of course it has, I guess. See, this is why I don't really engage with Twitter very much anymore. Aside from a bit of light schizo posting and reply guying from time to time, trying to get monetized, you know. But the Weinstein stuff did catch my attention, and so we ended up diving into it. Now I'm gonna go touch some grass, and if I'm displeased by that experience, I will likely blame it on the Canadian Communist Party because it's all their fault anyways. Thank you for watching the video, friends. I hope you enjoyed. Sign up on the Patreon if you would be so kind. YouTube memberships are cool too. Always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one, so until then, bye-bye.